All right. All right. Well, what's going on, everybody? It's your girl Pam with 2200 Taps. Yo, I have got a really cool dude on today, a really good man that I'm jumping right through this, right to it. I'm gonna get right to it. I met him at the Adaptive Training Foundation. His name is Antonio Valdivia. I like saying your last name. It's just cool, dude. Valdivia. But a little bit about Antonio. Antonio came to ATF, the good ATF, as an athlete, and his story is bananas. And what I like to do is give y'all and these incredible people a platform to really share their stories, but how they've been able to overcome it or push through it. Because once you hear about his story and more guests that we've got lined up for the show, their stories, it's gonna blow your mind. Jaws just hit the ground. The latest girl that I met, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get her on. It's just one of those stories that you and I, Antonio, that we hear in the rooms that not a lot of people get to hear. So I am so glad that you're here joining us today, and thanks for carving out some time in your busy schedule and your family's time to be with us today. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a complete honor to be part of this space that you have here. Thank you.
Absolutely. I don't know if you know what you signed up for, but it's going to be fun. I promise.
It
Promise.
is what it is. Let it go.
Well, guys, so Antonio, I kind of want to give you the floor a little bit. We're just gonna kind of get right to it. Just I was reading in your article, you grew up in Mexico, huh?
Yep, I was born and raised in Mexico City. I left Mexico in 2001 to have the opportunity to do my master's at Texas A&M and graduated from a master's in architecture in 2003. And from there, I just started my career as an architect in Jacksonville, Florida. I lived there for almost 10 years. And then I relocated to Dallas with another opportunity with the same company that I worked for. And here we are.
You have a master's in architect?
I do.
You are smart, dude. I'm over here like I've got a couple associates. I'm pretty smart. No.
Well, sometimes you gotta work your way into what you need, and the only way to open the door for me to put the foot in the door was to going for a master's degree, so I could get the whatever requirements were to get licensed here in the States. And at that point, it's if that's what it takes, that's what I do, and you just get it done.
I love that. And I was reading that your dad and your grandpa inspired you. Was that right?
Yeah. My dad is an architect. My grandfather and my uncle, who both are deceased, were architects as well. So I come from a family of very talented architects. I wish I could be a little bit like them. I do my best, but yeah, that's where that desire and that little spark came from. But
well, dude, I'm glad you're here. I'm not glad that you went through your trauma to eventually meet me and everybody else, but I am actually very glad that it happened for you so that you could be on the other side and we could be having this conversation to help another person that might need to hear this. So, and guys, I'm gonna brag on him a little bit. I was just telling him this before we hit record. My AC went out a few weeks back, and you were like at your somebody's baptism, right?
Yeah, one of my kids, we were getting her baptized and getting her new godparents and stuff like that, and we were in Mississippi for the full week. We were gone, but I saw one of the posts that you had that you were like literally dying and melting in lovely Texas weather.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to reach to you.
Yeah, my AC went out on a hot ass Texas day, like it always does, and on a Sunday because it always happens on a Sunday. And Antonio reached out to me and was like, "Go to my house, go get the AC, this, that." I'm like, "Dude, you're too sweet." In the middle of this whole family gathering for his daughter, it was so funny. I'm just like, "Thanks, dude." But we got that handled and taken care of. But I use that as
you just said the key word, which is family.
Yeah.
And we are family now. So
hell yeah, we are, dude. We are family. Oh, I can't wait to get it. Well, let's just dive into this, man. Let's just dive into this conversation because I could brag about you all day. I love your heart, man, and that's where I was going with that. Is just your heart. It doesn't matter what time of day it is, or even if you're doing something as special as being with your family in that moment. Like you are ready to just, I got you, one of those, and that's special. Um, so thank you. Now, I do want to say, I was reading your article. I have to do homework on my guys. So I'm glad you sent me the article because I wanted to dig way back. You you succeeded in your master's. You got well established here in Dallas. You have a beautiful wife, beautiful kids, a beautiful family. And then during COVID of all this whole thing, right? Of all of life during COVID, you went through one of the most horrific things you could have gone through. Your family as well. And what's weird is like it happened to you August 20 of 20, and that's actually when I started ATF, August 2020. It's wild. But
Actually, it's coming to 4 years on August 14th next week.
oh, Jesus, dude.
Yeah. Hey, another day to celebrate life.
You gotta celebrate it. That's right. Uh can you walk us through everything kind of leading up to it, what happened, what you remember, and then eventually how you landed at ATF, and we'll take it from there.
Yep. Yeah. I want to start with it's incredibly amazing how things can change and how quickly. You know, we wake up every day, we say, I gotta go get my coffee, I gotta get in the shower, I gotta run. And we take so many things for granted every single day that we don't realize how fortunate we are every day. You know, that day, I got up, I was rushing, I had to go to the into the office to sign an agreement. I was on my way to relocate to California to follow one of our customers. Very good opportunity on the door, and as you know, life changed immediately and in a second for me, and not because of the opportunity that I was going to chase. I never make it. I never made it to the office. Sadly, somebody was distracted on the phone, texting, didn't see me, was riding my bike. Next thing is I'm flying, hit the wall twice, got pinned in between the bike and the wall. Um, you name it. Next thing I remember, it was people stopping. I was asking for myself. I wanted to call my wife just to let her know, hey, I'm still alive.
Yeah.
And the guy that was next to me is like, dude, there's no way you have a cell phone. There's no cell phone on you. The bike is like half field down the road.
Oh,
there's no way you're gonna find a cell phone. I'm like, just go check for it. It should be in the handlebar. And yeah, cell phone was there. He came back, FaceTime Michelle, and she's like, "You're fucking kidding me right now." I'm like, "No," and I just started panning the phone. I mean, from there, poor my wife, I put her through a lot, and she's such an angel and a blessing. I'm very grateful she's still with me after everything that I put my family through. But that was the day. That's how the day started. Next thing I know is I got in the ambulance and I started fading. I told the first responder, is like, "Hey, don't let me die, man, because I'm fading." And they're like, "Don't worry, we just put you down."
Oh,
like,
they gave
okay.
you some medicine?
Yes, yes. So they gave me some stuff to just tap me out, and they're like, "It's okay to fall asleep now." I'm like, "Okay." Next thing I remember, I woke up in the hospital after several surgeries, and with the doctor in front of me asking me if I wanted to amputate my leg, and one of my legs, the left one, which that's the one that actually saved my life. You know, it's one of those things that you don't even realize how fortunate you are by getting a leg destroyed. But the leg was the one that got pinned between the bike and the wall, and that's what avoided the fact that I could go all the way to the other side onto oncoming traffic. And if that would have been the case, I would have not been here. So that was like the first blessing of the accident. You know, it's like, well, at least I'm losing a leg. I destroyed the leg, but that leg saved me. So as stubborn as I am, I'm like, no, I don't want to lose the leg. Let's give it a try. What can you do? I lost about 6 inches of both bones, the tibia and fibula, and the doctor is like, you have not much left in there. So first of all, we gotta tap a hole. We gotta close a hole that you have about the football size, and see if that works. Then we gotta figure out to get an implant in there.
Wait,
and
did you have like a compound fracture or something? Did you have a bone sticking out?
I lost the bone. I had a hole like this big, and anything that was in between that and
It's
my
gone.
ankle was gone.
Oh my gosh. Oh, see, I'm trying to like picture this because I'm that person that likes to see stuff like that. Um,
I'll send you all the X-rays so you can see them. I'm serious. I have everything in there documented, but
wow, I might use that for your cover photo. We'll see.
that's fine. I mean, it is what it is. So they took a lot of tissue out of my upper leg to do skin grafts. I spent about 3 days in the ICU just monitoring that because they had to reconnect blood vessels and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So finally, the graft worked. It was skin and muscle graft, so the grafts worked, and that was in August, and then we waited until December to be able to do the implant. So in December they got like about 8-inch titanium cage, and then about the 14-inch titanium rod going all the way from the bottom of my foot all the way to whatever was left on the tibia.
Wow.
So I gave it a try. I was trying to salvage it, but that's where I started going downhill. You know, I started rolling down. I couldn't do much. I felt paralyzed literally because even the fact of trying to walk was so painful, and I just saw my life just getting away from my eyes, in front of my eyes. I used to be somebody that was very active. I have 2 little kids, which we can talk about them a little bit, and they're my life. So I just saw like staying forever and never sitting down, either with crutches or in a wheelchair or I don't know. So finally, talking to my doctor was like, well, we could do another surgery. At that point, I had already 17 surgeries under my belt. I was getting tired of surgeries. And I'm like, well, if we go for the next surgery, what's the outcome? Am I going to get better, or am I going to have a surgery a year? What's the prognosis? And he's like, oh, I can't tell you that. So I'm like, can we look at the amputation option now? And he just looked at me and he laughed and he's like, I mean, I'll give you a couple of contacts that you can go talk to. And then I started getting involved into amputees and talking to them. And the first guy that I met, he's been an amputee for 20 years. And the guy was walking like perfectly straight. And when I saw that, I'm like, I want that. I want to be able to do that again.
So let me ask you something real quick. So
yeah.
Real quick, when you, because a lot of people don't realize this, and I didn't even know it until I went to ATF. A lot of like people with amputations, whether whatever accident or something that happened, there's a lot that it's failed limb salvage, and it ultimately it's like, can you just chop off my leg to give me my quality of life back, or whatever it is, right? And from what I've seen and what we've seen, it's like you can totally get your quality of life back if that's the route you want to. There's so much more in between, guys, but that's what I'm hearing you saying, that was ultimately what you wanted to do, was get your life back.
Yep. Yeah. The thing is, the biggest struggle is like you don't know, and you don't know what's out there, right? So at that point, I didn't have the honor to hang out with amputees, and I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that there was a better option out there. To me, it was like if they cut my leg, they cut my life. So that's why I was so stubborn about just not doing it and trying to make my leg work, and somehow being in negation. I was negating everything. It's like, no, I gotta make it work. I gotta make it work. And in reality, this is what you do here is phenomenal because you're opening you're opening another option for people to hear out that there are more things to do, more options, So that was the other thing that I learned out of this situation. It's like raise the hand to ask for help when you need to. You don't have to suffocate yourself just trying to make it work yourself. There's so much support out there that now I see it, and now, as you know, we try to spread this culture that you are not alone. Oh, your AC is down. Hey, I'll be there for you. You know, and that's just a simple thing. In things like that matter the most, like life events, people struggling, you know, mentally, emotionally. Because I went through that. I touched bottom. I I I I got to the point that didn't even know if I wanted just to blow my brains or not. Because you just feel so useless at some point that it's like, what else, you know? So so that moment was actually when I started looking into, okay, let's cut the leg. That's actually when I realized that my life changed for better. That's when I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. So losing the leg again, what was saving my life for the second time. So
Dang. I want to hit on something real quick because you brought
yep.
you. I mean, you're talking and you're speaking to me. You know, like I deal with chronic back pain and all this stuff, and I'm just like, I've got nothing left. I truly have nothing left, and I'm just like, every day I have to choose to want to do something different, choose to get up out of bed, choose to stretch or do whatever until like what we have on, you know, my calendar to get hopefully get better happens. It's a grind every day. It's just this chronic pain is a God, it's awful, dude. But
You know,
what
you
hmm?
have the mentality that you don't say to yourself, I have to get off from bed. You say, I I got to get out of bed. I got to do this. You
Mm,
know, you change that every day. That little word, instead of saying I have to, it's like I
I
got
get to.
to. I
Yeah.
got the opportunity to do this,
Yeah.
and that's where your day just changes. You just switch it. You know. I'm sorry that I interrupted you.
No, 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 no,
Go
you're
ahead.
good. This
Go
is
ahead.
this is your episode, man. You can interrupt me all you want. I got no problem with that.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, yeah. So the let me ask you this. So you were in your darkest place, darkest place mentally. What did that do to you? And how close were you to really just being like, I'm done? Like, what did that look like for you?
I was not a nice person. I got very what's the word? I don't want to say aggressive, but I was unhappy. There was nothing that fulfilled me. Like my wife could bring whatever food I liked the most, and I was yeah, you know. So I I literally lost, and everyone around me says you didn't lose any time, but I personally felt that I lost a year and a half without my kids because I was not in the right place to stay close to them because I was always in a bad mood and grumpy, and instead of just being enjoying them and smiling with them, they were just tense around me, and
Yeah.
that was not fair for anyone, especially to them, you know. So that was just so unfair for them.
That's thank you for sharing that. I mean, willing to like acknowledge like that's how you showed up. That's big. So on the flip side of the coin, when you were like, I want to amputate, like this is an option, how did that make you feel knowing like, holy crap, like this might be the best thing ever for me? Like what did
It
that
was nervous because again, it was taking me back into like, what if this doesn't work? Now I don't even have a leg, which in reality I didn't have a leg since the day of the accident. It was a living prosthetic, literally. That's what it was, and with pain.
wow.
So now with technology, I mean, I got the chance to explore a different outcome, and still at the beginning, I was panicking. You know, I was afraid of putting weight on the leg. I was afraid I don't know how to walk. I can't have my balance. I, you know, I have phantom pain and this and that. And that's when we go to the next part of this conversation, the blessing of getting to hear about ATF and then try to reach to them and show up. And we'll get to that story in a minute.
Can you tell
But
we're excited?
yeah, it was like a succession of events, one after another, that they
Yeah.
just started feeling better and better and better.
Well, so now you're below the knee amputee, right?
Yes, I'm
So
a
you're
left below knee.
okay. So guys, we call that a BK in our world, or an
Yeah,
AK is above the knee. Now, I will tell you, just for our listeners, if not like you have a choice as if you want to be above the knee or below the knee, you don't really have a choice. if you had a choice, let's just say there was, a below the knee seems to be a lot better option than above the knee. I say that because you still have your knee. You still have your knee to, as a point of a hinge point for you to actually walk. Whereas above the knee, you've got nothing.
Yep.
So it's really like, how do you learn to really trust this mechanical knee and not overcompensate using this hip? There's so much to it that people don't get.
Yeah,
And
yeah. If you overcompensate, you start affecting your hips, and then
dude,
you start affecting your other foot, and then you had other
mhm,
injuries that you didn't have before. But that's
mhm,
because you're not trusting the device,
right.
and that's where I was before I got to hear about ATF.
So let's back up real quick before we hit on that. Is so you let me ask you this: when you decided to have it was felt limb salvage, basically is what happened. When you were like, take my leg, did you have to speak to psychologists and really kind of like go through that process, or was it more like, no, we really just need to take the leg and just be done with this? Or what did
I
that
think
look
I
like on the mental side?
I think I reached the point. And let me get back to the beginning.
Hmm.
The day of the accident, I was not ready to lose a leg, and I'm positive that if I would have walked out of that or rolled out of that hospital without the leg, I would have had much more problems psychologically than I do right now because I didn't get the chance to try it. You know,
Got it.
at least for a year and a half that I had the implant, I was suffering. I was losing my marbles, but I tried. You
Yeah.
know, I tried my best, and I reached every single point to the to the point that I hit the wall, and I'm like, I can't deal with this anymore. If whatever is left is cutting the leg and go back to the amputation, let's do it.
Jeez.
But
You can't.
it's one of those things that sometimes just to realize who you are and who you are made out of, you have to touch bottom. You have to
Hmm.
get to the deepest of yourself,
Yeah.
and that's when you actually get to talk to yourself. You get to see and look around and look at everyone and the complete support system that you have around you, and finally it hits you and you realize how precious all that is, and you start just listening to it, taking advantage of it, you know. So to me that was that cracking point, and uh, I mean, I do not regret a dime. And even my mother was asking me not long ago. She was like, "So, if you could do something different the day of the accident, would you have done anything different?" I'm like, "No. Everything happens for a reason."
Hmm.
And the person that I am today, I want to think that it's a better person than the day before the accident. My priorities have changed. The way I see life has changed. The way I see people has changed so much. You know, uh, I'm, I'm I'm the person that I appreciate every single thing. Even when you open a soda and you start drinking it, all those little bubbles that tingle on your nose, I appreciate them now. Before you just like take all that for granted, and it's like whatever.
Yeah.
Getting to see my kids every day. You were
Mhm.
talking below knee, above knee. What's better? I'm like, take the entire leg off, but I still get to see my kids every day.
Mhm.
You know, that is what's life
Mhm.
about. Just to be around the ones that you love.
You're gonna start making me cry over here, man. You stop.
That's fine. We can cry together. Crying is good. Crying
Crying's
is
good.
healthy. You
I
know,
love that. It
it
is.
flushes. It doesn't matter if you're a guy or not. I mean, when you cry, your entire self
Yeah.
flushes.
Yeah. Man. All right. So let's the day. Let me ask you this: the day that you had your surgery.
Which one?
Okay, that's a fair question.
The last one, the amputation.
The amputation. Yeah, let me put it in reverse. Put that in
Yeah,
reverse, Terry. Oh my gosh. That's fair.
April
That's fair.
18, 2022.
April 18th, 2022. When you came out of surgery, do you feel like what was that feeling? Like was it a new start? Were you just like, okay, this just happened, like no turning back or what? I mean, do you remember?
Well, I think it was before getting into surgery. That's probably when I was the most nervous about it
Yeah.
because it's like this is it. There's no turnaround. This is it. coming out of the surgery, you just look at it and it's like, it looks like a big volleyball because it's all swollen and it's wrapped up. And it's weird that you don't see the foot anymore. But other than that, it's like, okay, let's do it. We're here. There's no going back.
I love that. Oh my God.
But I gotta tell you, I mean, the recovery was incredibly faster than when I was trying to salvage the limb.
Really?
Yeah, 2 months after I would have the first prosthetic on, and I was giving my first steps. 2 months after the surgery.
Whoa. That's pretty
So
rad.
yeah, and after trying to be salvaging the limb for a year and a half, I mean 2 months, I was like,
Man.
I'm dope. I'm ready to start walking. I'll show you the video. The first day that I came home with the prosthetic, I started mowing grass for like 15 minutes. I'm like, okay, it's starting to hurt. I'll stop. But I was mowing grass.
That's amazing. That's amazing, man. Oh man. Well, I think of like Sergio, right? Or one of the trainers who,
Yeah, yeah,
you know, Sergio.
yeah, very
Sergio is
well.
a below, yeah, he's a below the knee amputee. I mean,
Yeah,
he's a combat vet, stepped on a landmine, blew the bottom of his foot off, you know, and for 12 years he had failed limb salvage. He went through 2 ATF classes too before he had his
yeah.
amputation. And then he was at that point you were. He's like, just take it. Just please
Mm-hmm.
just take it. They took it. He came in for one more ATF class now as a new amputee. He came in a wheelchair and he was walking out with a prosthetic. And
Yep, I
now
remember him.
you
I
remember
remember
him?
him.
And
Yeah.
now he's like now he's a head trainer.
He
He's
was,
doing
he was class
Paralympic.
26, one before. He was one of the ones that I was like literally with a telescope. I was looking at him like, okay,
Really?
if he can, I can.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
now he's doing
yeah,
Paralympic, you know, sitting volleyball. Like this
yeah.
guy is oh, it just blows my mind, man. Blows my mind. Like how much better life can be if there you just find another way, you know. But getting okay, let's get to your rehab real quick. So you're going
Yeah,
through
let's
your
get to
rehab.
that point.
Yeah, we're on the good stuff, man. Uh this is all fascinating. So you go through rehab. How the
I
hell
did
did you
physical therapy with the salvage limb
okay.
for a while, and I went to do all kinds of physical therapy that it's called, all the medical stuff. They
Mhm.
put you in the bike, they put you in the walker, they put you in the elliptical, they did this, and but all that it's good for some people. It was just not good for me. It was not enough. It was not challenging. Every
Yeah.
time it was like, make sure you don't hurt yourself. Make sure you don't push it.
Yeah.
That was not enough for me. And after after the amputation, I was just like starting to walk around and trying to do more stuff on my own. But again, the unknown there was to know to see if I was doing it right or not. And I didn't know if I was going to hurt myself more than anything. And I was hesitant of doing stuff because I didn't want to hurt them. So one day, it was around Christmas time, and this is funny because I had full house here with family from out of town and all that, and everyone was in the backyard here at your house, and all of a sudden the kids left the TV on, and I'm like, can they just turn it off? And I walked to turn it off, and all of a sudden here's this big dude with long hair on the news talking about people with disabilities and people doing more stuff than anybody else that has full body. And it's
Mhm.
like, what is this? So I started doing research. I was like, it's here in Carlton. Like it's like 15 minutes from my house. And I tried to reach to them, no response. I tried to call, no response. So finally, I'm like, I'm gonna go to this place, and I got in there, and I saw one of the athletes in there just working out. I'm like, hey, so how does this work? And they're like, well, you gotta apply, and you gotta see if you can make it or not. You gotta make a case. There's priority for veterans and first responders. Are you a veteran or first responder? I'm like, no, I haven't had that honor, but I mean, I'm here, right? And I just kept coming back, reaching, and then finally, Josh got to call me back. I was like, "Hey, dude, we want to talk to you. When can we call you?" I'm like, "I can just come to the gym right now." So I went straight like 15 minutes after I was talking to Josh at the gym, and just he was explaining to me And he's like, you need to commit, because this is not just something that you're gonna see if you want to try it or not. It's like, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do
You're
it.
in, yeah.
So that's because you're focused and you want to do it. And it just, it just fell from the sky. That's the best thing that could have happened to me. I'm a go get it guy, but literally ATF unleashed me. ATF took all that hesitation that I had. ATF just took it away. It's like, dude, the only disability that you have right now, it's you yourself telling yourself that you can't do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Oh,
so, I
so
mean,
true.
you've
So
lived
true.
it, and it's just, I wish I could share that feeling way more with others, to just spread it out, to get that little thing that's gonna spark your flame, your internal flame, to
Mm.
get you going again.
And I'd venture to say you are, and we're going to get to it here in a minute. You've been doing really big things to give back to the community, and it's exciting. It's exciting. We'll talk about it here in a second. I just want to know, what was so you get obviously accepted to ATF.
Hmm. Class
What do
27.
your first day, man? Your first full day. What was that like for you when you're like, oh shit, like this is it, like I'm here? What was that experience like from your day one versus your last day of your week 9? What did that day one look like? What was it like for you there?
So day one, I was freaking out because, as you know, they won these assessments,
Mm,
and you don't know what to expect.
mm,
You've seen everyone else working their butt off from previous classes, and it's saying that you're gonna get pushed to the limits. I was freaking out because after the accident, I mean, I had not worked out in forever. You know, when I heard that I got accepted, I started trying to work out here at the house and trying to get a little bit in a better shape, but but there was no better shape at that point. So first day I was just crapping my pants. The second day, yeah, the second day, which was the day that we really did the full workout, everybody there is either puking or trying to puke and hold
Mhm.
it. And the third day, it's the one that you're like, oh my God, I can't even move because
Mhm.
you're all sore.
Mhm.
But still, you're sitting down doing your breathing before your workout on the third class, and you get so centered again that that physical pain goes away, and you just get out on the floor again to just try to rip it again. You know.
Ugh. Yeah, and rip it you did. I think I was your support trainer for a few times. Uh, man, I don't know. I think we're scaring the listeners. So we like to get
Nah, it's all
really,
good. It's
we
all good.
like to get very spicy at the gym. And what I mean by that is, put it this way, Travis, I always talk about Trav is, combat vet. He's got no legs. He's an above the knee amputee, actually. He's like way up there. He weighs almost 200 pounds. This dude is like straight muscle. And I'm not over exaggerating. We put his ass on a scale. He was like a buck 98. I'm like, are you kidding me, dude? And he's also the guy that likes to do 12,000 meters on a ski erg, like, and no
Mhm.
problem. And we're like, okay, Travis we're about to get spice level like 5 over here because he doesn't care, you know. You got to do it, man. And the thing is, like, people puke all the time, but you got to think, man, a lot of these people that come in, or when we came in, we haven't done anything. So
Mhm.
the minute you start moving your body, you're shocking the system, dude. And guess what? You're gonna puke. Not everybody pukes, but the ones that do, it's pretty rad. We celebrate the whole thing. It's great. They get a
But
free
even
t-shirt
after
and
the
everything.
puke, they enjoy it and they're like proud of it. It's like, it felt good.
You
Let's do it again.
got a puke bucket, and everyone's like cheer. Like, literally, this last class, everybody stopped what they were doing to cheer this one guy on to puke, and he tossed his cookies right in front of us, and we're just like cheering him on. He got his free
Yeah.
t-shirt. The normal person that would walk in would probably be like, "What the hell are y'all doing? This poor guy." You know. It's a fun little community.
I
Uh,
mean, to me, instead of being something to scare me, I'd say the first day I was scared shitless. Yes, because it's like the
Same.
amputation. There's no way back. You're there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, well, what if no, you're there and now you got to
There,
do it.
you gotta do
But
it.
but instead of being afraid of it, it gets you awake. It's like if they can, why can't I? If somebody without legs is pounding 250 pounds on the bench, why can't I? What's my
Yeah.
excuse? What is my excuse? You know? So to me, it was all the way around. It's like they're doing way much more than I, and I'm complaining. I'm here complaining about, oh, I don't have a leg. Like, dude, stop wimping and just get in there and get it done.
Yeah. Do you have like a moment when you went through that sticks out to you by chance, or moments, whether it was of you like having your like you but you shattered that glass ceiling, or somebody else, or you knew like this is where I need to be, or anything. Is there anything that sticks out to you?
In ATF or
Yeah, yeah, ATF in particular, because that's our little petri dish of amazingness, right?
so I had the blessing to have Randy
Hmm.
as my trainer, and he is another below knee amputee. And having him work with me was incredible because he always explained to me the whys and how we were doing things so I was not going to get injured. And at the same time, to explain to me that I could push it, you know? So doing that felt make me feel so comfortable with what we were doing. There was that connection, and Randy was really strict. He was like, one, two, two, two. You're not going all the way down. You gotta go all the way down. And I'm like, okay, three, four, four, four. I'm like, come on, like get the way down. He's like, okay. So he was pushing me, but he was always very conscious about me being okay.
Right.
So that made me feel incredible. And then you talk about glass ceiling. I don't think there was glass ceiling. I think the glass ceiling was before the amputation. Being at ATF, it's like going to church. You know, you get there because you want to get close to the next level. You know,
Yeah.
you want to get close to whoever you pray to. You want to be surrounded by your tribe, by your family. uh, you are always accepted in that place. There's no day that you get in there and somebody will look at you weird. It's all the way around. Even the first day that you walk in there, everyone is so welcoming. You're part of the tribe already, you know. So I don't think there was a glass ceiling moment. I broke down several times, yes, and a lot of them were emotional. It was more me internal, you know, fighting my demons and trying to get balanced because I was so unbalanced before. I was, you know, I snapped too quick, and finding that balance was one of the most kind of like cracking open moments for me. And a lot of those was like when I was about to just give up. I don't know. Let's say the skier. I was in the skier and I was just about to drop the stuff. And Randy's like, just think about your daughters. And I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, you son of a gun. And then
Hmm.
you get that back in your mind and you just start pushing it harder and harder and
Hmm.
harder. So those moments were like cracking moments, but personal moments. You know, it's like now I know what I really live for. Now I know what really gets me to keep pushing to get to the next level of things, you know, which a lot of it is family and friends. So now you don't think about, oh, I want to have a new car. Oh, that doesn't matter anymore, you know.
Mm-mm.
You have it. You have the picture of the people that you love the most in front of you,
Yeah.
and boom, there's nothing that will stop you.
No. And I'm glad you mentioned that. Like, Randy would bring up the kids anytime you were ready to quit or in that
Oh yeah,
moment.
oh yeah.
And that, I mean, hey, that's the reality of your life. That's what you go back home to. What kind of a husband or a daddy are they going to get when you walk through that door? Do you want to be
Mm-hmm.
the same kind before you showed up to the gym, or in your case, the gym, right, or ATF? Or do you want to choose to do something different and really like work on that shit, that anger, that rage, whatever that looked like for you? And we don't have to talk about it. That's more of your moment, unless you're willing to share, but don't feel like you
Oh,
have
that's
to.
fine. I mean, like, we can talk about anything. Again, we're
What
doing this to help other people, right?
so
So ask whatever you need to ask.
all right, so like in those moments in recharge, or those moments you were like those mental barriers, what were you struggling with? What in those moments, what were you struggling with so that you could become a better version of you?
I was struggling a lot with anger management, um, personally. I was, as I said before, I was mad, and I was mad at the situation. I was mad at the why me? Why poor me? Why did all this happen to me? And at the beginning, I didn't understand it, and it could be to anyone, but it depends on how you take it and the outcome that you're gonna have and how you take it. But I mean, it can happen to anyone. But the amazing thing is going through ATF. Dante was all the time. He was like getting in there with you, and when you had a struggle, like you know, I'm letting myself go because I get too stressed about things like work and economics and whatever. And he had the incredible I don't know how to call it, the skill to just set you down. Like, okay, just think about this. Think about what you've gone through. Think about how you're taking it. Think about and all that, just analyzing it and reassuring everything that you've done and that you're doing it right. And it's a process. It's not something that's going to get solved in a day, but it's a process. And you're investing on that process every time that you're over there or every day that you are actually in a positive way and breathing, box breathing.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I would have known about box breathing before. Now, right now, anything happens, and I could be just about to lose my marbles. You just sit down, disconnect for 2-3 minutes, box breathe for 2-3 minutes, even quietly in front of people, and your entire outcome is different, right? So you're settled. You reconnect again with yourself before you just burn the fuse, so those, to me, those were more of those oh shit moments, going through ATF.
Yeah. That's amazing. And you bring up a good point with box breathing. Those are just like the little tools that they help teach us. And it's true. Box breathing, and for those that don't know, box breathing is just a series of, you inhale for like 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4, and it's like this box, right? Imagine a box. And you do it, it helps you calm down, it helps you kind of get recentered, it helps you really do a lot. Because was it David? I think it was DV or Mo. I think it was, you didn't have Mo, I had Mo, or both of them. They said that you got to think the first thing you do after you're born and the last thing you do before you die is take a breath.
Mm-hmm.
That's how important in those moments you got being aware of your breath work can really help you. So
Exactly.
yeah, I'm glad to know you're
I
still
don't know
doing
if I answered your question specifically or if I went around, but
no, no,
I
no,
think
no.
those were the particular moments.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you did. Well, I was going to ask you who you're angry at ultimately. If you ever
myself.
figured, yeah.
Myself, and then I later on understood that I had nothing to do to change things, and I actually thank the accident because I've changed so much.
What's changed since that's helped in the better? What's helped you?
In the better,
Yeah.
as I was saying earlier, is the way I see things, the way I appreciate people, the way I approach people. Now I've been always very outgoing, and I like to be around people, but now I see people in a different way. You know, it's so much easier to call someone family than before. I mean, before you get enrolled in whatever the society is and whatever good and bad the society brings. But right now, it's like priorities are completely different. And one of the things that I've learned with all this is to be grateful, to be thankful, which a lot of the times we think we deserve things, and that's not true. Life is a present, and we need to thank for it every day. And then everything around it, it's also a gift that we need to just be grateful for it. That's why the present is called a present, right?
Be where your feet are,
Yeah.
That's amazing. I feel you on that because after like my trauma that I experienced, when people are like, "Oh, let's just," especially family, I love my family, but like people are like, "We'll just do it next year. We'll do it next." I'm like, dude, I might not be here tomorrow. Can we not? So that helped shift my mentality. I'm like, no, I want to seize the moment. like
Hmm.
right now.
Yep.
There may not be a next year. So what can we do now?
Yep.
You know, I get that. So you're when you graduated in your week 9, that transformation what was that like?
So I gotta tell you this: week 9 for me was probably my last challenge out of ATF because uh, week 8 I ended up having my remaining limb completely blistered.
Hmm.
So I couldn't even
Wow.
finish or graduate wearing the prosthetic. I had to be on the knee scooter for graduation day, which to me was a hit emotionally again. Personally, it's like I've worked so hard for these 8 weeks that week 9 I have to be off the prosthetic, and I can't even be standing to graduate. Well, guess what? I took the thing off and I was in one leg standing and I still stood up and I graduated standing up. But that's more me and being stubborn. But yeah, it hit me. It's like why again? Why does it have to be so hard? Everything was going perfect. Why this last week had to be? And at the end of the day, I'm talking to Randy. He's like, dude, this is a lesson. This is like life is not gonna be perfect. And from now on, you need to keep in mind that doesn't matter when it's gonna be. You may not be able to walk that day because whatever with the prosthetic, and you need to be resilient. You need to just understand that, and that was like the perfect way to finishing or
Mm,
graduating from the program because I guess I was still not ready. You know, if that didn't happen during the program, I probably would have struggled more on my own to overcome it. But now
mhm,
it was like, well, it is what it is. You work around it, you adapt,
mhm.
and you adapt around it, and life continues. You know,
Yeah.
so that was excellent. And then thankfully, after graduation, even with a little bit of blistering and whatever, I was able to put the prosthetic back and do the trip and do all the high activities and all that stuff, you know. But that was fun, and I'm glad that I graduated that way um, because that was kind of like the last lesson through the program.
Mhm. Well, it's kind of interesting that Randy was your trainer for this whole thing for a few reasons. Number one, he's just an amazing dude. Like when Randy talks, you listen, and I'm hoping to get him on the show because he's special forces army. Like this dude, this dude's been through some shit. But I think it was shortly after your class, or maybe a little after, he actually couldn't even be on his leg for 9 months.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he was blistering. We actually I graduated and we were training uh, three days a week in the mornings together. So now it was different because now we were pushing each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I could be doing the counting for him as well. So
You're like one,
payback, right?
one, one.
One payback, and we just laughed at it. But so yes, I think with Randy I had the biggest connection. I had Chris also, and Chris is an incredible dude, incredible person. But with Randy, I think I had a little click because we both were amputees, right?
Mhm.
Chris is like incredible emotionally. He was always there. Even today, I mean, we talk outside ATF. He's calling just to check on me every time that he can. He's like, dude, are you traveling this week? When are you coming? So he's awesome. And then the third person that was key for me during training was Braxton.
Mm,
He was here from Japan
mhm.
temporarily, and that dude was just doing the workouts with me, and he was just making it look so easy that I was like, no, I gotta push harder because I mean this guy is just
Mhm.
doing like nothing.
Yeah.
So
Braxton was home
yeah,
on leave. Yeah. He
yeah,
was, yeah,
yeah.
he's home
So
on leave.
summary is great people around there. Everyone, every single one of them. Every single one of them.
Yep. Yep. I'd have to agree. And it's funny, like we have a when this episode comes out, it would have already passed, but currently there is a hyper class going through right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Colin had asked Sarah, David's wife, one of the founders of the
Yep.
gym, like, do you have any words of wisdom or advice to these guys, And she said it best. She's just like, lean into it and trust this program. You're gonna get out of it what you put into it. And
Yep.
if you don't trust it, you're going to be missing a big opportunity for the most part, you know? And
The thing is,
I'm paraphrasing, but
everybody
it's pretty
there,
close.
everybody there is there for you.
Hmm.
If you really don't take advantage of it, number one, you're wasting everybody's time and effort. Number two, you may be taking the spot away from somebody else that really would probably use it the way it is. And number three, you are just depriving yourself from one of the best opportunities that you can have in your life.
Hmm.
You
You
know,
know,
so if you don't see that, then I don't know what you're doing there.
I don't know either. And you know, that's a really good segue because if you're not able to join as a an athlete because you're able body, you don't have any injuries or you don't qualify or whatever that may be, you can come and volunteer. We always need volunteers.
Yeah.
And you could also do you could also do what Antonio's been doing or started last year and has something coming up again soon. You're putting on a golf tournament or
So
helping,
yeah,
right? Tell me about that.
so I work for the Haskell company. Uh, that's my regular life.
Hmm.
uh, and they started trying to get giving back to the community, and ideas started just popping. And I just got in their hearts like, guys, these guys are phenomenal. We need to help them. I feel it personal because I went through it. I see what the program does, and I just got hard in there like, hey, we need to help as much as we can. So yes, we organized this tournament. I think we've done it for like 5 years, but last year was the first year where part of the donations went to ATF, and
Okay.
some other went to Love Pack. This year, apparently, the tournament's going to be even bigger than last year.
Nice.
So we're gonna need more volunteers. So ATF guys, if you're listening to this, just coming
Let's
out
do
and
it.
play or come help.
So
Um,
you guys have been putting on golf tournaments for a little bit. It just now
yes,
that you've adopted ATF. That's really cool. That's
yes.
really, really dope.
So next one is in October 22nd.
October 22nd.
Yeah.
What do I have on? I have something on October 20th. I think I have a sorry, dude. I think I have a rock show on the 22nd. I might not make it.
Well,
I have this thing
you
with
may need.
concerts. I gotta go.
That's fine. If you don't come, you need to send 2 or 3 people in your place.
Yeah, let's do it. No, Breaking Benjamin's coming to Dallas, so I have to go. That's my favorite band of all time. Uh, but getting back to that, so my point being, like, man, if you have no way of giving back, man, businesses, if you do philanthropy work, I mean, this is a great example right here. If you want to come volunteer, if you're local, if you're not local, I mean, spread the word, spread some videos because it's the 9 week class. If they're accepted, they'll fly them in. It doesn't matter where they live in the nation. They fly them in, put them in a hotel, feed them most of their meals, not all, but most of their meals, take care of them, go on a class trip, fly them back home at no cost. It's literally like it's no cost. And a lot of fun events in between, which I can't even begin to start. Like they're a lot of fun. Um, I just saw a picture. I'm looking at I have your story up on the screen next to me. I just saw you. Tell me about this real quick before I forget. You were jumping off on your class trip. How high was that rock that you guys were jumping off into the water?
I don't know. It's probably about 15, 20 feet, but it feels higher.
Yeah, because you jumped off. A lot of your classmates jumped off.
Yeah, no, it's pretty high up there. But you know, uh, that day it was freezing. It was really cold. The water was extremely cold. So not everybody. It was 3 people that decided to jump off, and I was one of those crazy ones. But it it felt so alive. You know, it made me feel so alive. So
Yeah, I see David. He's all buttoned up. He's got like a hoodie on or something in
yeah,
a
it was
beanie.
cold. It was cold.
Well, man, I'm proud of you. I'm proud to know you. I'm honored to know you. I'm glad I'm a little sliver in your life and I'm glad you're a part of mine as well. And I'm dude, I'm just glad you're here. I'm really glad you're here.
I am glad too. Trust me, and trying to give back as much as I can now. It's especially because I was not supposed to make it somehow,
Mm-mm.
after
You
that.
did.
And now it's the more I can help. the more I get involved with suicidal awareness and stuff like that. If I can help one person, that's gonna make my entire life. So so that's what life is about. It's just to be there for everyone that needs it. Because when I needed it, everybody else was there for me. So
I love that. I really do. Now, before I let you go, is there anything you want to tell somebody out there that has nothing left?
don't give up. Don't think that you're done. When you think that you're done, it's just time to raise a hand, because that is the time that you are actually starting to get to know you at your deepest. But that's exactly when you have to bring your hardest, you know? So do not give up. Do not give up on you. Life is great. And even if we have, a lot of people say you only live once, and that's not true. You have one life, but you live every day. So you need to enjoy every single one of those days that we are just borrowing as our personal life. So we're borrowing life. So
Hmm.
we just need to be thankful every day.
I love it. Is there anything you want to tell your beautiful family and your kiddos?
I love them to death. I love them to pieces. They are my fuel. I mean, they just crank me up every day. That's the main reason why I want to continue living as much as I can. They are the reason.
I love it,
And
man.
obviously a big thank you. Thank you for everything that I made them go through, and being there every day, and just for loving me the way I am, and helping me be a better person every day.
God, you're a good dude, man. You're a good dude. And you're a
Thank
good one to
you.
know, man.
Thank you, lady. I love you to pieces too.
I love you too, man. Well, I thank you for being here, man, and sharing your incredible story. And I hope this platform can at least be a little snippet of, something you can send somebody if they've got nothing, like, hey, listen to this episode, or go here, or do this or do that. Like, we appreciate you, we love you, and I'm super stoked for you, man. And one day, if I get the balls and the courage enough, I'll be like, take me out on your boat. Just not there yet. Just not there yet, but I'm working on that. That's my trauma. And so we're working on it.
I understand, but hey, whenever you want, we'll be ready.
I know you will.
I'm here for you.
I am too. I am too. Well, my friend, I'm gonna sign off with my beautiful listeners. Don't go anywhere, but I'm gonna formally say goodbye on this
Well,
little.
thanks to all the listeners. I appreciate the patience, if they made it through the entire podcast, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. And thank you guys for sticking with us and listening to this incredible story. Um, Antonio's a good dude, and anything we can do to help him and his family out, getting the story out to you guys, I mean, that's what we're here for. So until next time, stay tuned and catch up on the episodes, because we got more cool guests. And a man I'm really hoping to land. He goes by the name of Thorges. They call him Thorges. That's the only hint you're gonna get. So until then, I love you guys. We'll talk to you later. Peace. Sweet. That was super
That
sweet.
was awesome.